What's going on, guys? I am Toxic Jordan. Welcome back to the channel. So we are going to jump into the Shadow Dragon Saga Extreme Super Battle Road stage today. We are running a Giant 8 Power / Shadow Dragon Saga team with the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta here. The way I'm going to attempt to set up the rotations here, so I've got the LR Shadow Dragon army. The int LR you get from the Ultimate Clash mode. I've got them, as well as the STR Omega Shenron. The STR Omega is definitely the best one for Super Battle Road, at least for the time being, before the physical one gets his EZA during the 7th year anniversary. Because his passive skill, he has a 40% attack reduction for the enemies while he's on rotation. So basically, all enemies' attack is lowered by 40% while he's there. So that you will see makes a huge difference in the amount of damage that we're taking on the rotations where he's on. Okay, so we've got Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta there as our slot 1 unit. Not the best option, but we don't really have any better options. So we are kind of stuck using him. You saw he was taking like, 60k on normal attacks before he super attacks. But the main thing to note is that he has a 70% chance to counter super attacks. So we're at least not... The idea is that we're not going to be taking any super attacks with him. And then we're going to be running him with the Oceanus Shenron. She's definitely the best unit to keep on rotation, rather than one of these other Super Saiyan 4s, because... though she doesn't link as well with the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, she is going to be sealing and stunning the enemies like crazy for us, which is going to be a huge, huge help. There you could already see it was mitigating some damage that she was going to have to take, because we can at least make sure that she is stunning the most threatening enemy that's going to be attacking herself, right, to at least protect her. But then it carries into the other turn because we're able to keep them sealed through the next turn, so... yeah, her stun is a passive ability stun, so it's only a 1-turn stun, but that's why we're keeping her in slot 2. That way she can stun the unit for slot 2 and 3, rather than just being a slot 3 unit and she only stuns at the end for herself. But her seals carry through to the next turn, so that's going to be very nice. Okay, so you can see the duality there, right? We only took that super for 20k because of all of the attack reduction that he's doing. Granted, we had type advantage against them as well, so that's another thing to consider. But that is certainly better than taking normals for 65k, right? Sorry about that, got a little low power mode thing going. I had been recording for a while, and I had just gotten home from work, so my phone was not at the most, the biggest charge. And when I use my little adapter to plug in my Elgato, my phone doesn't charge very fast, and sometimes it loses battery even while it's plugged in charging, so... Okay, so unfortunately we have to take that super attack there. We only have a 30% chance to counter with that Super Saiyan 4 Goku, so... we'll go ahead and pop the active skill here. It's just going to give him some additional attack and defense for the turn. Which I'll definitely take. I'm pretty much going to be popping, anytime I see that active skill, I'm just going to pop it immediately. I know in longer form events, it's smart to save it because it's only a 1-turn effect. It's not like something, like the STR Kid Boo's that's like for the rest of the fight. So his active skill is only active for the turn, but the fight is probably not going to last much longer than through the next turn anyway, I imagine. So... so I imagine that we attacked, I wasn't paying attention, but I think we attacked the tech enemy here, yeah. And then, I imagine I switched the int enemy with Oceanus, so that, okay, so the tech enemy has been depleted here. So if we're able to stun, or at least seal the int enemy, then Oceanus should be safe there in the middle slot. We shouldn't have too much to worry about. That extra attack and defense probably coming in clutch there for us, not really taking damage. Okay, so we are able to stun here, which is very nice. I'm actually not attacking the int enemy, I realized, just the physical one. So that is a bit of a blunder on my part because she's taking 2 attacks from the int enemy, so I probably should have targeted the int enemy. Oh, the int enemy was already stunned. I see, I see. My mistake. Okay, so here we're just down to the mole-looking Shadow Dragon. GT is so weird. I've never been a fan. I've seen the show twice, and I probably won't watch it again because I just could never get into it. The Super Saiyan 4s are great. Love seeing Super Saiyan 4s. Definitely a great addition to Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball GT itself as a concept is just so bad. The enemies are all weird, and I don't know, the plot is just ridiculous. Anyways, so a bummer that we are finishing off the fight with the Shenron rotation, because the Shenron rotation is definitely stronger, as you can see, definitely stronger than the Gogeta rotation. So there we were able to tank very well because the LR Shadow Dragon army there lowers attack on Super, and the enemy's attack was already lowered by 40% from the STR Omega Shenron's passive. So that was a lot of attack lowering that we were able to mitigate all damage we were going to take there. Which would have been a lot nicer to take advantage of here on this turn. So I definitely feel a little more unprotected on this turn. We probably should be targeting the int enemy here. I believe it's Ice Shenron. We should be targeting them with... Oh yeah, so here we're getting a counter as well, which is nice. That's 3 for 3 on the super attack to counter for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. But yeah, the Oceanus needs to seal up or potentially stun the int enemy. That way Super Saiyan 3 Goku doesn't have to take any damage from him at the end. Because he's got type advantage over the STR, obviously, so it would be better for him to tank hits there. Okay, so it doesn't look like we do get a stun, unfortunately, just a seal. Which is alright, because I definitely don't trust him to counterattack for us. He only has a 30% chance, so that can go wrong very quickly. Yeah, so as I thought, he'd be able to tank the STR enemy perfectly fine. Nova Shenron's definitely not going to be hitting him that hard. So here I think we're sitting pretty too. Again, our defense is pretty high. With the 2 Shenrons linked up together, they link up very well. And they both have big bad bosses as well, so they are getting a good amount of defense. And, you know, with all the attack lowering, and then this Gogeta tanks very well after super attacking, I'm really not worried about this rotation at all. These 3 units lined up is our strongest rotation that we have, for sure. So yeah, and the typings aren't even that bad, because there's not a single unit here that has to worry about type disadvantage, because there's no AGL or physical enemies. Okay, so we get a nice attack lower here. So yeah, this Ice and Nova definitely have some health. Like, my goodness. After 2 full rotations, neither of them are dead. Okay, so unfortunately we're 3 for 4 now. We did not tank, or we did not counter that super attack, but instead we just tanked the whole thing. Because of all that attack lowering I was talking about. We only took 20k, so that is not bad. It would have been nice to have the extra damage from the counter, though. That would have been good. So yeah, here it definitely makes the most sense to again try and stun Ice, just because we're probably going to take out the Nova right away anyway. But I suppose both enemies are equally threatening on this turn. It's just that the STR enemy's attacking at the end too, so. Alright, so there we are able to get the stun, which is nice. Luckily, no super attack there. You know, the cheeky thing that Super Battle Road enemies love to do, where they super attack you right before they get knocked out. And you have to take an extra 200k damage for no reason. That's always the worst. So even though we're splitting up the Shadow Dragons, we're going to put Goku in the middle slot here, just for the active skill. Keep in mind that active skill super attacks like this, links do affect the amount of damage that you do. So I always put, just out of habit, I always put the unit in the center, just to make sure that they're getting as many links as possible from both units on rotation, to do the largest attack stat. And then after you do this, the attacks, the active skill effect with them, then you just move them back where you want them. You do have to keep in mind, though, if your active skill is going to finish off an enemy, and move you on to like the next phase of a fight, then it will send you to the next rotation. So you have to be careful in those situations, not to accidentally rotate off the wrong unit. But yeah, here I was pretty confident that we weren't going to obviously finish him off with that attack, so we were safe putting Goku in the middle slot there. Which actually, his active skill didn't really do any damage at all. I'm hoping that gets a bit of an update after he EZAs in the 7-year anniversary. That will be nice if his active skill actually does some damage. I know some of the earlier active skill super attacks just really didn't hit that hard. Some of the new ones are starting to, they have built them in a way that they actually put out damage. So that's good. Okay, so lots of active skills to activate here. I imagine I've got some decent numbers going. Yeah, we're up there at 200k. That's very, very good. It looks like, unfortunately, we're going to have to dish out a super attack, or a Dokkan attack here. We weren't able to avoid that. We were selecting too many type orbs. So, we are going to have to waste our Dokkan attack at the end of this fight. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but that just means that the last fight against Omega Shenron is probably going to take us a little while, because we won't be able to deal out a mass amount of damage to him at once with the Dokkan attack. Alright, so we're easily able to finish off Ice Shenron there. We'll be moving on to the final fight here. And this Omega Shenron has a large health pool. The Nova does it as well, I suppose, but the Omega Shenron's is definitely bigger. So we're rocking a good rotation going into this fight. I love having the attack lowering rotation on that first turn. And I think the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is going to do good in the final slot there. We'll just put everything on STR. This rotation. And see how much damage we can possibly remove. So we had type disadvantage there, and we only took 150k. That's actually really good for Extreme Super Battle Road. I will definitely take that. Putting up decent attack stats too, above 3 million. I'll definitely take that. Any lower, and this would be like just agonizingly slow. So we're actually able to get a stun there. We only have a medium chance to stun. I actually forgot that the unit had that capability because we were like never stunning when we were running through this stage. But we are able to get a stun there, which is big against a 2-enemy fight, because that's half the damage that the team was going to be doing is just gone, right? So yeah, very, very good. But of course then, Omega Shenron is the one who's attacking in the first slot. So we still have to worry a little bit. But yeah, here I figured I would switch up my target to Omega Shenron with the Oceanus Shenron. And here we're getting another counter, which is perfect. Because that way she can probably stun him, and then we won't have to take any more damage for the rest of the rotation. And this is a really, really clutch additional super that we got here, too, from Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. That means that Nova's health is low enough now that Goku's going to be able to take him out in the final slot there. And now Omega Shenron is sealed, so for next turn he's going to be sealed, and we only have him to worry about. So we should be sitting pretty. It's definitely better for him to be sealed going into this Omega Shenron rotation. That's why it works so well having the Oceanus on the opposite rotation, because with all their attack lowering and having the enemies sealed, you're just like tanking everything. It's really, really good. So I actually put the Int unit in the first slot, partly for key selection so that I could grab more type orbs and heal up a little more. But I also put him there because he has that stun chance. And he doesn't have type disadvantage, and there was a lot of attacks in that first slot. So I just thought it would be better to put him there. But yeah, with the stun chance, I was thinking if we are able to proc the stun here, which we do, then now the rest of the rotation is free. And it is a super attack effect, not a passive skill stun, so he is going to be stunning him for 2 turns, which means he'll still be stunned on the next rotation as well. So I think with that stun, that pretty much guaranteed our victory here. It would take a pretty unlucky scenario at this point for us to lose, because we've got this entire rotation worth of damage. Yeah, plus some attack lowering as well. We're able to get a few type orbs here, getting a little bit more healing just in case there is that final rotation where he's alive and able to like super attack us right away or something. But yeah, overall the Shadow Dragon Saga stage is not too difficult. It's been pretty power crept at this point. There are a lot of good options. If you're missing 1 or 2 of these top units, or you don't have, enough battlefield points or the ultimate clash points to get the LR Shadow Dragon army, there are a few good substitutes you can use. I'm not using the LR Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I'm also not using any of the Shadow Dragon like support units, like the Nova Shenron or the Ice Shenron or anything like that. So those units aren't quite as good. They're going to be a little bit more defensively, dangerous to have on the team, but they are going to be providing some good support. So maybe some of these units you're seeing here will be hitting even harder. So that's something to keep in mind for sure. Alright, and the LR Shadow Dragon army here, going to finish off Omega Shenron. This was actually the first... Oh, they actually survived. So Shenron finish off Shenron. Perfect. You'll love to see it. Yeah, actually, I like that team quite a bit. I forgot how fun it is using Shadow Dragons, because it's been a pretty irrelevant team for a long time. So hopefully with the anniversary units coming out, that team will see some new life. But yeah, so that is the Shadow Dragon Saga stage, cleared with no items. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on the video. Drop a comment down below, let me know what you thought. Subscribe if you guys want to see more like this in the future, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.